Anybody who understands success and finishing first or winning on a regular basis knows that it doesn't happen by chance. You don't ever get there just because of your talent.
Squirting back, ball goes back to West. Stay there.
The only thing that I've ever known in my life about the game is hard work.
Come on, Bowles, be quick now. Be quick, be moving.
That hard work and concentration and dedication is not going to guarantee you anything, but without it, you don't stand a chance.
Shot by Ralph Sampson. Off balance has given the Houston Rockets the Western Conference Championship and a trip to Boston for the NBA World title.
I couldn't believe that our season was over, that ended with that one shot. And every time I get down or get a little disenchanted throughout the season, all I do is break out that tape and watch that last few seconds, and that revs me up and gets me ready to go.
I think this is a prove year. We're out to prove to ourselves that we're still the team to beat in this league.
From the outset, the 1986-87 season breathed redemption for the Los Angeles Lakers. But once again, their good intentions were thwarted by Hakeem Olajuwon. On opening day, doomsayers were proclaiming the end of the Laker domination, as last year's crushing defeat was still spinning its haunting image. Laker optimism had darkened as a new force loomed in the West.
I was trying to convey to the players that I think everybody wanted to see just how total this was. Everybody wanted to see just exactly how over the hill we were. Everybody wants to see your demise. I think that was the final blow. We bottomed out. We rose out of the ashes after that game.
Like a stunned prizefighter, the Lakers fought back with a vengeance.
Pump fake, turn it, out of it goes, he's fouled. What a great...
The season's first win came over Seattle and initiated a renewed desire to beat all comers and a return to a winning style of basketball. The Denver Nuggets were the victims of the Lakers' revitalized fast break, solid proof that their competitive fire was back. And that familiar look of confidence was once again beaming on those wearing the purple and gold. Hubie Brown brought in his New York Knicks, who were no match for the Lakers' well-honed teamwork.
Right side to Worthy, underneath, laying up and in. Now here's Magic down the middle. Magic. Oh, no, look pass to Worthy. Make it to Rambis who scores.
The Knicks were LA's third straight victim, but former Laker Maurice Lucas planned to put an end to the mini streak. Instead, the King of Pain and his cohorts suffered their second loss to LA in 4 games. After a series of easy victories, the physical play of Sacramento got the upper hand on the Lakers until the Lakers' final possession.
The Laker bench, dribble drive. He shoots a 12-foot high archer. Good! 1 second left.
The streak was now at 5, and next was a visit to Dallas's Reunion Arena, a troublesome place for road teams in recent years. As one of the league's youngest squads, the Mavericks hope to tire out the Lakers. Not an easy task when a 39-year-old center can sprint full court for an easy 2. In the end, the last laugh was on Dallas. In San Antonio, the Lakers got exceptional bench play, especially from ex-Spur Wes Matthews. His 8 points in the 4th quarter fueled LA to post lucky number 7. Returning to the fabulous form the Lakers took on the Nets, another team confounded by the LA freeway system. The Lakers made it look all so easy as they drubbed the Nets by 16 points. The powerhouse Milwaukee Bucks were also searching for a way to stop LA. But another win pushed the Lakers' record to 9-1 and drove the doomsayers straight out of town.
Billy Thompson had the ugliest yellow Corvette.
And they had an official race car on it. It looked like something out of the circus.
We talked to him from the beginning of the season to get rid of that car or at least get that sign taken off.
The latest model in the Lakers showroom, rookie Billy Thompson. New to the pros, new to the LA lifestyle. Billy has had to make some adjustments.
I do miss home. I have a lot of love back there and a lot of love for me, so I do miss back east. But the people out here I've found are very open-minded, and they're pretty much serious about what direction they're headed, and they're always moving in that direction.
He can't get to the layup.
Billy's reputation as an all-around player appealed to the Lakers, so much so that they traded for him on draft day.
I was very happy to know that I was coming out here to the West Coast, and I knew that I'd be in a situation where I'd be a part of a winning team, and hopefully I'd be able to win a championship, a world championship, and I believe we're doing that now.
After starring on an NCAA championship team at Louisville, Billy Thompson has embraced his supporting role with the Lakers. His dream was to become just the fourth man ever to follow a collegiate title with an NBA ring in consecutive seasons. Instantly, Thompson excelled at both ends of the floor, becoming the Lakers' newest weapon on that devastating fast break. Speaking of role players, no one does it better than Kurt Rambis. However, this year, Kurt had to accept a new role.
I went to Kurt and I explained to him exactly the direction I wanted to take as a coach. I also explained to him that he is a veteran player that can supply for us like what Michael Cooper does. He could come off the bench and be considered one of the great six men or reserves in basketball.
This decision paved the way for versatile second-year man A.C. Green to join the first string.
I felt that A.C. Green needed to start for him to perform well.
He runs the court very well. He gets out on the break, which puts a lot of pressure on the opposing team's big man to get out and run with him to defend him.
A lot of people look at size and they say strength and power, but there are a lot of strong guys in this league who aren't 6'10", 240. A.C. Green happens to be one of them.
In a stirring debut as a starter, A.C. proved he would be a key element in Los Angeles' revitalized attack.
Best haircut?
I do.
A.C. Green.
I have the best hairstyle in the league.
He has the all-time longest curl of all time.
It's definitely not A.C. Green. The guy does his hair at Oil Can Henry's.
Kareem.
I'd have to give it to the captain. I hear bald men are very distinguished.
I do, because I have the least to cut.
Another famous haircut belongs to Pat Riley, who reached 300 victories sooner than any coach in league history and earned November's NBA Coach of the Month honors because of the Lakers' fast start.
We're still a team to beat. We may not be ahead of the posse like we were for years, but I don't think anybody, any opponent, would ever want to come in with the attitude that we're finished. Otherwise, we'd be in big trouble.
Riley knew the Lakers were never taken lightly by the Boston Celtics, and their December clash at Boston Garden typified the bitter rivalry, providing a sweating intensity with each passing shot. Los Angeles trailed by 8 in the fourth quarter and looked to their captain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who skyhooked for 14 points in the final period to break Boston's 48-game home winning streak and reaffirm his role as the focus of the Lakers' half-court game. Several games later, Kareem was injured, and someone had to carry the burden.
The conversation that I had with Magic was very straightforward. I want you to become more offensive-minded because it's going to make the team win.
In 8 pro seasons, Magic Johnson has earned the reputation as one of the most creative playmakers ever. But beginning with the mid-season contest against the Houston Rockets, he was asked to extend that same creativity to the scoring column.
Magic with it. Magic's 20-foot jumper. Good! Magic Johnson. He's got his season high. He's got 38 points.
This added workload challenged Magic's stamina, yet he hit for a career high of 46 points the following game, raising eyebrows with his newfound productivity.
Because of Kareem's consistency, Jamal Wilkes getting the easy layups, Norm Nixon when he was here, and all the guys that have been here and that are here now have provided the scoring for the Lakers.
Magic's impressive numbers had the whole league wondering if number 32 had elevated his already spectacular game.
They say I'm the new improved Magic Johnson. This looks like some detergent or some soft drink, but I'm not new and improved. I'm the same Magic, but just because I got added responsibility of scoring, it's made me a better player.
We need his offense. And because he realizes that's what it takes us to win now, people are starting to recognize him for exactly what he is the total best player in this game.
A player who's been understandably lavished with praise is Julius Erving, the doctor, who paid his final house call to the Forum.
I figured that they should give Julius this rocking chair because they got this one from me about 2 years ago. And we'd like for all of you to join us in expressing some appreciation for this man.
Lakers fans will never forget the incomparable thrills Julius Erving gave them, particularly in 3 memorable NBA Finals. On this very night, the baton of greatness may have been passed along. But on the far end of the bench sat those players who are not quite household names. They're known as the Lakers' Blue Team.
The Blue Team, the all-comic relief team. It's a beautiful team.
We're all really close, but I think the bench has something this year that we're kind of, pulling for each other, and we want to do well when we do get a chance to get in the game.
The biggest memory probably was coming back home after a long-fought situation and having a chance to play in front of the hometown crowd back in Largo, Maryland.
During an inspired homecoming before his mom and pop, Adrian rose to the occasion and showed the depth of the Lakers.
Us winning and me contributing to the situation, it was little, but it was like my biggest sports thrill.
The ugliest shot on the team?
Oh, I give it to Wes. It's nothing personal, but he shoots a Phil Necro knuckleball.
We keep trying to tell Wes to keep his elbow in, but it's like automatic switch, it pops out on him.
He don't know where the ball's going. He's got his elbow out here, his head's cocked to the side, his legs are spread apart.
Anytime anybody shoot like this, they got the ugliest shot. Definitely got the ugliest.
Life on the road, the tedium of travel, revolving hotel rooms, a common bond of all players. And as a seasoned veteran, Michael Cooper has the routine of the road down pat.
Land at the airport, the guys go around, we fight over to see who's gonna buy the yogurt, spend a little money. After that, I think it comes down to fighting for seats on the bus. Get on the bus, come to the hotel. If there's no practice, then usually myself, Magic, and a couple players will catch a movie. Once you become known around the league, everybody wants your tennis shoes, a jersey, just a little piece of you, and for some unknown reason, you have a tendency to pick up a lot more relatives. Hello. Yes. How you doing, Lynn? I was just able to get just the 2. So I'll leave them for you at the game. it goes along with the territory. It's like signing autographs, you know. It's something that you have to handle, and you have to handle it in a very mannerly way and not let it distract you from what you're at hand here to do, and that's play a ball game. Every now and then a little casual reading also helps, and that's very fun. If not that, some paper. This is my favorite next to that. The news, catch up on the weekly news. So I enjoy reading that, and then I have a tendency to go to sleep after that. Again, it's very fun. I wouldn't change it for anything in the world, and I enjoy it, and I'm gonna enjoy it until it's over with.
For all the players, a welcome sight on the road is Lakers trainer Gary Vitti.
Once we get on the road, then I take over. I'm the contact between the travel people and the team. So the players don't have to worry about it, the coaches don't have to worry about it, even the press most often don't have to worry. They just have to show up.
Through 4 different time zones, Vitti's concern is that everyone returns home healthy. And just prior to the All-Star break, the Lakers looked particularly robust against the Sacramento Kings. The Lakers got off to their customary fast start, taking advantage of the Kings' sloppy play. Coach Phil Johnson tried to remain patient. After 18 unanswered points, Sacramento looked to get on the scoreboard. And oops, sorry guys. Sacramento shot a dreadful 0 for 15 in the first quarter. Poor shot selection was not a problem for the Lakers. Patience was long gone by the time the Kings realized the game would not be theirs. Sacramento's complete exasperation triggered a technical foul free throw by Byron Scott. LA's 29th consecutive point, a new NBA record.
I think it was unbelievable for them as well as us to be up, 29-0?
Stellar performances like these sent several Lakers All-Star game bound to Seattle. There, the East razzle-dazzle threatened a possible 4th loss in 5 years for Coach Pat Riley. But with his West team trailing in the 4th quarter, Riley turned to 3 familiar faces. The Lakers triumvirate led the West to a dramatic comeback, capped by James Worthy's spectacular tying basket. Now the East needed a hoop against a swarming group of West All-Stars. No easy shots were permitted. A tip-in by Moses Malone put Pat Riley in a quandary.
Now listen, Buck is coming here with it. Rolando to the corner.
A play for Rolando Blackman found an opening in the East back door. Fouled with no time remaining, the Dallas guard lined up to determine the game's outcome. Isaiah Thomas playfully distracted the shooter, but Rolando had his own bodyguard. Blackman looked to cut the lead of the East to just 1 point. The old buddies, Magic and Isaiah, were loving it as Rolando made his mark on All-Star history.
First team that gets the first 2 or 3 buckets, the first one.
And in overtime, the West looked to finish the business at hand. With the help of All-Star MVP Tom Chambers, the Lakers contingent showed a few things about pressure basketball. Kareem's dunk sealed the win for the West. But more important to the Lakers was showcasing their great talent and reinforcing their image as the team to beat. Then in February, for insurance down the home stretch, the Lakers brought Michael Thompson to Los Angeles from San Antonio.
He woke me up real early on Sunday morning, the day of the game against Boston, and brought me over to the Forum. And then he took me down the court, and I walked through some plays. Just he and I, before most of the team showed up.
In one morning, assistant coach Bill Burtka got Thompson's game ready.
It's a good thing I didn't have a chance to think, too much time to think about what was going on, because maybe I wouldn't have remembered everything I had to remember.
Just hours in a Laker uniform, Thompson quickly became a force on the Forum floor. It came during a showdown of the league's two top teams. Boston's inside game was powerful, and they built up a 17-point lead with 5.5 to play in the third quarter. The Lakers would have to have one of their greatest rallies of all time. Even for the magical one, this was a game to savor. Johnson dove headfirst into shark-like Celtic waters, slipping and sliding for 39 great points. By leading a sensational come-from-behind win, Magic emerged as the front-running candidate as the NBA's most valuable player.
Kurt, the animal Rambo Rambus. He loves the beach. He out there getting a tan. I said, Kurt, you can stay home and get a tan.
Oh, man.
You go to the beach to see the girls.
A player who's always basked in the spotlight is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who set yet another milestone. Against the Chicago Bulls, he netted his 36,000th career point. Were there any goals left to achieve for the captain?
I think all big guys in this league, or one time in their career or life, would like to be a guard.
A guard?
You know, he's playing great basketball. He's done this for so many years, and the only thing he hasn't done in the league was shoot a three-pointer and been successful at it.
You mean a small guy who shoots from the outside?
Hustles, gets it. Shoot a
he's going for it.
It was great. It was super. And his face lit up. The smile came over his face, and you know, everybody on the bench was going crazy.
I was hot from outside. There's no denying it.
With Kareem warming up and Magic cooling down with a slight injury, no telling what was next.
Jack's got no passing lane, and Kareem intercepts it. Kareem's on a dribble route. Kareem all the way, slam. We got a new point guard. The biggest guard in the history of the NBA. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar starting a new career. He's an outside shooter. He's a defensive genius. He's a dribble drive artist. He's making a believer out of me.
Then on February 28th, yours truly received a very special award.
History of sports. Tonight will mark the 2000 consecutive broadcast by the voice of the Lakers, the greatest in the business. Believe me, I worked with him some 20 years ago. Chick Hearn. And Chick has not missed a game since 1965 in November of that year. And he has been with the Lakers for his 27th year.
Talk this way. Chick Hearn. Talk this way. Talk this way. Talk this way. Chicky.
Best singer, probably me.
So I'm the best singer, without a doubt.
Besides myself?
I would have to say me, without a doubt.
Byron has a pretty nice voice.
Byron is our tenor lead.
He sang so sweet. I would have to say Byron Scott, Baby B.
Byron, come on now. I know you're going to move.
Byron got his chance to strut his stuff during the annual All-Star Saturday night show.
Comes up to me just because Cooper's yelling, "You got Byron up here, Jeffrey, come up here." I was thinking, no, Jeffrey, please don't come up here, Jeffrey. Don't mess with me tonight.
Can you woo, woo, woo? Can you woo, woo, woo? Can you woo, woo, woo?
These sweet sounds are produced by a man who sings the happy tune of a family life with wife Anita.
London is, yeah, she brings a lot of joy to us, it's no doubt. Thomas is the same way, our little boy who was at school. You know, when you have both of them at home, it just lights up the house.
Once a local high school star, Byron's dreams of lighting up the Forum have come true.
It was always something that I always knew I would achieve. I used to tell friends when I went there, I'm going to be playing, you know, here someday.
And this year, Scott set personal highs in scoring, rebounding, and assists. On the brink of a sixth straight Pacific Division title, the Lakers took a little time off for the extensive research they had to have on that old basketball term, quality minutes.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, and then I'll watch them roll away again. Yeah, I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away.
Away from the fray, these Lakers luxuriated in the California sun, perhaps reveling in the team's equally sunny outlook. Their charter was headed to those rough waters of photo sessions for the annual Laker poster, and that was no fish story.
Hey, it's good. You're right.
Come on, AC, don't eat everything up.
The Lakers' glossy image was best captured during the home stretch as their point guard spearheaded an 11-game win streak. During this run, Irvin Johnson was more than magic. He was a sorcerer, conjuring up mystical ways to do the impossible. Magic Johnson. The Magic Man found new and inventive ways to down the opposition. He posted 4 consecutive triple-doubles to cement his hold as the league's MVP, the only major milestone ever to elude this living Laker legend. But a milestone no one may ever duplicate is the longevity of the Lakers captain Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. For 18 seasons, he's controlled the pivot, perfecting his graceful skyhook into the deadliest shot in NBA history. Kareem not only epitomizes the greatest of skills, but he still plays with a youthful zest. And some of his teammates contemplated where they might be at age 40.
Hopefully I'll be sitting back with my kids somewhere in New Mexico enjoying the rest of my life.
I'll be playing golf, tennis.
No hoops. No hoops.
Hopefully partying.
The festivities continued with a season-ending party back home in Los Angeles. But Kareem said, enough of such frivolity, while rival playoff coach Doug Moe couldn't get enough.
Ask Pat, they want to hear some real. Ask Pat if he's worried.
Oh, Pat Riley wasn't worried, but he was intense on mapping out a checklist against the first-round playoff opponents, the Denver Nuggets. The skyhook was working. The Laker half-court offense was working beautifully. The three-point shot was perfect. The defense, outstanding. The Laker fast break, Showtime personified. That left enough room for a little bit of miscellaneous Laker magic. The Lakers swept the series, 3-0 over the Denver Nuggets. Next in line were the Golden State Warriors, a young team showing surprising playoff success. Their first attempt to corral the Lakers was unsuccessful and just a little bit unorthodox. In game number 2, LA fired back with their own attention grabber, the Showtime fast break. Lakers attacked in waves, inundating the Warriors for a 116-101 win. Golden State fared no better at home during game number 3, unable to hold back the floodwaters of LA's deep talent pool. But the Warriors managed to bail out of a 4-game rout, buoyed by the outstanding shooting of Eric Sleepy Floyd. With a playoff record of 29 points in the fourth quarter, Sleepy scored 51 on the game and handed LA its first loss of the postseason. Upon returning to the Forum, the alarm sounded for LA's defensive ace. It was time for a showdown. Before the 5th game, the Lakers' great sixth man, Michael Cooper, was honored as the 1987 NBA Defensive Player of the Year, a remarkable achievement because it's usually an honor held for starting players. Part of Coop's success comes from a tireless work ethic, but you can find a bigger reason by simply pointing into the stands.
Wanda is my inspiration, and with her up in the stands and my kids, every time I make that key basket that puts us ahead or brings us a little bit closer to victory, she's all the reason for it, so I have to point to her.
Cooper is also an NBA Iron Man, playing in more than 500 consecutive games.
The streak is something that goes way back to when I was in junior college. Skinny as I am, 174 pounds, 75 pounds, people are always telling me, Mike, you won't be able to stand the rigors of the NBA. And now that I look back on it, you know, that's what makes me go on and continue the streak. Because there are games when I don't feel like playing or games that I'm hurt that I have the opportunity to sit out. But when I think about all that talk, that's what gets me ready to keep on going.
A game that Cooper eagerly looked forward to was the rematch against Sleepy Floyd, whose point production was spilling over into Game 5. Michael concentrated on closing down the only man who could hurt the Lakers. He made sure that number 21 mirrored number 21, forming an airtight seal on his opponent. Cooper practically suffocated Floyd and then vaporized anything that dared to cross his path. Warrior heads were spinning, and a patented Cooper loop sealed the game in the series. The Lakers marched on to their 6th consecutive Western Conference Finals, and everything was going according to plan.
This was a big, big game. There's no way that we wanted to go back up to Golden State. The home court advantage is set up where you win at home and you go on the road and split one and you close it out in 5. That's the way it's always supposed to be. And we came and closed out tonight. Now we have to move on and up.
For the league's MVP, there was no higher ground.
This award I dedicate, and it belongs to my dad because of all what he has done for me. My dad used to play. I'm living for him in a sense.
Even at an early age, Magic seemed destined for greatness.
I believe he was about 6 years old. He used to ball up socks and make him a spot on the wall and shoot the sock against the wall.
Mr. Johnson, did Irvin's early obsessions have its share of problems, maybe around the house?
Not really. Just I couldn't find the socks a lot of times.
Meanwhile, Magic and his teammates were having their problems with the Seattle Supersonics, an unexpected visitor to the Western Conference Finals. Every time the Lakers broke free, the improved Sonics matched them step for step. There was concern that these upstarts could accomplish what the Houston Rockets had done a season ago. But one factor in the Lakers' favor was experience, and it came through at the end of Game 1 and during LA's final possession of Game number 2.
He's in big trouble. 4 on the clock. 3 to Cooper. Three-pointer on the way. Good!
The clutch three-pointer by Cooper gave Los Angeles a 2-game series lead.
Cooper made a great shot. Give him a lot of credit for that. That was a big shot, and that's what the money players do. When it's on the line, they get it done.
In the Emerald City, another money player emerged for the Lakers as James Worthy exploded for a career playoff high 39 points. But Bernie Bickerstaff countered with his own low post specialist, Xavier McDaniel. And together these two thoroughbreds ran side by side. A third straight game was to be settled in the final seconds. But this time, L.A. had to come up big on defense.
Ellis gives instead to Luke and now to Ellis. That's a two-pointer blocked by Cooper. What a block.
Out of nowhere, Cooper's dogged pursuit salvaged the win for Los Angeles and sent Seattle's lofty dreams crashing to the floor. Again, the Sonics came painfully close to stealing a game from the league's winningest team. Game 4, Seattle was determined to make a valiant last stand. However, the Sonics were now running on empty and were crushed by 31 points as James Worthy quickly turned the series finale into a real lapper.
James was just sensational. I mean, he is really, I never seen him like this.
He's just truly awesome, gifted player that plays within himself, and he's proven to be unstoppable thus far.
In '84, it was a novelty. It was the first time we've matched up with him since '69 in a final. That was 15 years. Our kids were babies. These players weren't even, had nothing to do with that rivalry. So it was new and it was fresh. It was Johnson, it was Bird, it was Kareem, it was McHale. It was all new players that had to start playing this series again, and all the ghosts of yesteryear and the tradition and the romance of that series.
Nobody gets you up more than Boston. As long as Larry's on the other side and I'm on this side, it's going to always be that. And after it's over, when we play in these all-star games, these old-timer games, we're going to want to beat each other. And after that, when I see him on a park and recreation, I'm going to want to kill him then, too. He's going to want to kill me.
Anytime you play against the Lakers, you get this type of feeling where, you feel like you got to win. You got to win. I don't care if they win one game out 4 or 5 or 7. You still got to win. You got to beat them because the Celtics have always defeated them.
The Los Angeles objective was to run the Celtics ragged. And in Game 1, the turbocharged Lakers made the Celtics look like they were standing still. The fatigue caused by Boston's back-to-back 7-game series was apparent. Instinctively, they turned to Larry Bird to put them back on track. Yet, whatever Bird produced was countered by his longtime nemesis. An opening game victory appeared in the Lakers' sights, with the focus of attention belonging to James Worthy. As in LA's 2 regular season wins over the Celtics, Boston found him one tough customer, hounding Larry Bird's every attempt to shake free, risking his body for loose balls, and dominating the offense with the sweetest post-up game in the business. Worthy complimented his 33 points with 9 rebounds and 10 assists, symbolic of the Lakers' balanced team effort. But it was Worthy's fluid, streamlined style that captivated the crowd. The Lakers took a 16-point lead into the 4th quarter, but Boston attempted a last-gasp effort to catch up, only to fall to another Laker weapon. Finally fell 126 to 113, as their road-weary legs were no match to the superbly conditioned Lakers squad.
We spend a lot of time off the basketball floor doing things to reduce the risk of injury. And I personally think that a lot of that what we do preventively relates to our injury rate.
To achieve this degree of physical fitness, the Lakers had to literally pump tons of iron.
Our big concern is for the big guys, the rebounders. We think it's extremely important that the bigger people do strength training.
When you get on those boards or you're on the break, or you need that physical strength, because under there, everything goes, and so whatever you got, that's what you got to use, and so you better make sure you have enough.
In turn, Los Angeles couldn't get enough of Laker basketball. A quick scan of the crowd verified how hot a ticket to Game 2 actually was, with celebrities watching celebrities. The Lakers looked even sharper than they had in Game 1. They lit up the scoreboard like a pinball arcade and found a different face with each passing shot. Celebration, despair were two interchanging emotions. As the Celtics fought to regain their composure and build momentum, they were cut down by LA's heady defense. This ebb and flow of action has become the trademark of the Celtic-Laker rivalry. Patiently and methodically, the Celtics scrambled to just a 4-point deficit after one quarter, but the Lakers had a plan. With the Boston defense clogging the middle, sagging low, LA called upon three-point specialist Michael Cooper. Little did anyone suspect that Cooper would blow the game wide open by hitting 5 home run shots in a row.
When they doubling down on me, James, or Kareem, and you leaving two of the best three-point shooters in the game wide open, they're gonna kill you. They're gonna hurt you.
We shoot it in the flow of the game at the early stages. When we're on a roll, when we might be up by 10 or by 15, and we use it as a weapon then to kind of like break the back.
Three-pointer comes in awfully handy because now teams aren't afraid. They are afraid to leave myself and Byron when we throw it in the post. So now Kareem, James, and now that Magic is posting up, it's giving them a little bit more room to maneuver in there. And like I said, you win games in the trenches, and that's where the ball has to go.
And in the trenches, the Lakers own two of basketball's most unstoppable forces. The formidable skyhook and the relentless forward who thrives in the paint. Yet surprisingly, Game 2 did not come down to a battle of big men. The Lakers simply outthought, out-hustled, and out-quicked the Celtics at every turn. It was one of the best team efforts of the Pat Riley era. LA shot a remarkable 62% of its field goals, with 5 different Lakers coasting to 20-point games. With victory assured, Michael Cooper pumped in an NBA playoff record 6th three-pointer. He was the brightest star in the Lakers' 141-121 blowout, giving Los Angeles a comfortable 2-game series lead.
I want us to win this one, and Michael Cooper had me on my feet. He was hot. He was blazing hot.
The combination of Cooper having a great night out for the outside shot, the three-pointer, and the other part is they're getting the inside shots and the fast break too. That's a totally bad combination.
We know that Boston is a strong team, and we know also that it's going to be tough once we go back there. They don't have that outstanding record at home for nothing.
The series rolled into the Boston Garden, toughest place in the NBA to win a road game, and home of the East Coast's most vocal fans. With 92 wins in their last 95 games on the parquet, the Garden could be the Celtics' solution for their 2-game deficit.
Doesn't really faze me one way or the other. But when it comes down to it, it's 5-on-5.
We can go up to Mars and beat anybody up there.
lead began as if LA might get their sweep. But out of nowhere came unexpected help. Greg Kite, playing only because of the injury to Bill Walton, shed his bench warmer status and stunned the Lakers and even the Boston crowd by controlling the middle. A new face gave new life to the Celtics as they looked to regain the form that had won 8 titles at the Lakers' expense. If another was to be added, this game got Boston off their backs and within a victory of a tied series. As in all championship finals, the fourth game looms as the most pivotal. And nowhere have more championship games been played than at the Boston Garden. Two men who have thrived here are Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Each is the proud owner of 3 World Championship rings, and one would pave his own destiny to number 4. The other was not about to let it happen. Three-time MVP Larry Bird got Boston out of the blocks early. Even when LA scored, he found ways to strike back. A quick scoring spree gave Boston a sizable third-quarter lead, but the Lakers were determined to recover. Patiently, they chipped away, exploiting key matchups. As the lead shriveled, their inside game grew stronger, with rebounders like Michael Thompson pounding the boards. Now far removed from the comfort of a 16-point lead, the Celtics look to the game clock as an ally. The Lakers needed to dig in for the final 12 minutes and prepare themselves for a street-tough brand of defense. The Lakers swarmed Boston like angry bees, stinging them with a Michael Cooper steal. The three-pointer cut the Boston lead in half. Pressure was mounting, and Boston threw an ill-fated pass. Down by 3, the Lakers called James Worthy's number. With the lead cut to 1, Boston looked to Larry Bird to fire back the salvo. Bird's attempt was off target, and Michael Thompson's rebound gave LA a chance to grab the lead. Magic Johnson, LA's floor leader, marked out signals. Cooper followed orders, setting a pick for the Lakers captain. The Celtics were in shock after witnessing one of the greatest comebacks in NBA Finals history. Boston still had another chance, and a man-to-man confrontation of the highest order was about to unfold. To the surprise of no one, the Celtics looked for their scoring ace, but James Worthy was relentless in holding Bird in check. Boston remained patient, trying to set up number 33. And when Worthy was forced out of his assignment, Bird got what was needed, a split second to do his damage. Bird's three-pointer put Boston up by 2, and it appeared as if the ghosts of this rivalry's past were again haunting the Lakers. L.A. went to their big man, who drew a two-shot foul. Kareem's first attempt brought L.A. to within 1. His game-tying effort was long and surprisingly knocked out of bounds. Celtic luck appeared to run out, yet Boston had a 1-point lead. But Larry Bird had a hunch that danger still lurked. With just 7 ticks remaining, Magic Johnson took matters into his own hands. In true MVP style, Magic Johnson had found yet another way to come through in the clutch. Still 2 seconds remained, then everyone kept their eyes on Bird, who managed to slip by the defenders. His shot beat the buzzer, but fell harmlessly to the floor. The Lakers now had a 3-1 series lead, 1 away from an NBA title.
He's the MVP of the league, and he made some awful big plays out there. He made everything happen out there for him. He made that one running hook shot in the middle, and you know you're going to probably going to get beat on a sky hook, but you don't expect it from Magic.
In the years to come, this shot may become the greatest chapter in the compelling rivalry of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
We both do what we have to do to win the game. You know, that's the difference between us and a lot of people, because we'll take that shot, you know, either one of us. I'm not going to take no 3 like him, but I take the 2 and under.
From the floor of the Boston Garden to the haunted rafters loomed the specter of Celtic elimination. Game 5 began as a reprise of the week's past events as the Lakers had their run of the Garden. But that parquet floor still breathed Celtic glory and revived its team to do the improbable. The tide was turning, and the undertow was killing the Lakers. Boston was at their series best, and LA's title dreams were stunned, confused, and out of reach in the Boston Garden. The final crushing blow was delivered by Boston's most hobbled warrior. Celtic pride resurfaced, giving Boston a new lease on playoff life.
The only thing I'm glad it's over with, and we're going back to California.
Too many days, too far away from home, sapped the Lakers' strength. And they look forward to the comfort of Los Angeles and Game 6 in the Forum.
Right in there. You're going to do well on the flight going home.
Life in Los Angeles is the great outdoors, providing many opportunities to play. But the Lakers knew that only their commitment to hard work would bring them a title.
You basically have to push yourself if you want to be the best, if you want to be a champion.
Even after 18 seasons, one has to work on maintaining the competitive edge.
Most people, when they're 40, they more or less settled into something that doesn't involve running up and down the court in your shorts, you know.
The Lakers' dedication to hard work has brought them 3 NBA titles during the 1980s. Now they felt the urge for one more.
I'm real hungry, you know. It's like you haven't eaten in a while.
it'd be really nice to be able to wear the crown for another year. I think that would be wonderful.
The desire for an NBA title was strong. And nothing could whet the Lakers' appetite more than the sight of their fiercest competitor. A season of total effort was on the line, and the Lakers were determined to make things happen their way. In grand style, Kareem triggered the Lakers' fast break. Lakers' speed flat outran the Celtics, recalling visions of games 1 and 2. Boston was coming apart at the seams, but Dennis Johnson provided the necessary glue. His inspired play reminded his teammates that they were still the champions. But perhaps more threatening than DJ's cunning was the versatile low-post play of Kevin McHale, who shrugged off a painful foot injury and returned to mid-season form. McHale gave Boston a halftime lead, and LA had to make a change. Michael Thompson was assigned to go body-to-body on McHale. As a 9-year veteran without a championship ring, Thompson was hungry for the crown. And with the possibility of a tied series in the balance, this strategy worked like magic. Suddenly, the Lakers were in front and never looked back. From both ends of the floor, Thompson spearheaded a 14-2 run, proving himself to be the final piece of a perfect Laker puzzle. Another Laker World Championship appeared on the horizon, and fittingly, the captain sailed it home. Kareem's 32 points overwhelmed Boston as the Lakers cemented their image as the class of the NBA. Magic Johnson was named the series MVP. He and his teammates reveled in this crowning moment in a season of redemption and ultimately glory.
From